What is up, everybody? It's the Vish Kumaran Show. I'm Vish Kumaran, and we got a very special guest with me today. Former 49ers and Eagles safety, Jaquiski Tartt. Jaquiski, what's up? How are you doing?
What's good, my brother? I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. This is your first time in a while that you haven't played, football. What, probably dating back to high school, I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, bro.
So this is the first time in a while. What's it like on your body? The time off? What do you what's the feeling?
Man, it's great, man. My body just being able to rest for so long. It's been a long time, man. It's I'm definitely enjoying it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so you obviously you spent training camp with the Eagles. You were on the Niners last year. Talk to me just like that time this offseason was obviously a weird offseason for you. I'm just assuming based on what happened the last play with the Niners, right? Like just talk to me what it's been like since then for you. Like you when we were talking yesterday, you were talking so much about how you're at peace right now and you're just very comfortable and you're happy. Like talk to me just about that, like that process of coming from what happened on that last play in the NFC Championship game.
From that last play, I mean, obviously I wanted to catch the ball, but it's just one of those things. 9 times out of 10, I catch that ball, but I didn't. I know who I am as a person, as a player, and that's all that matters on that play. But at the end of the day, it's just, like I said, life about peace. And that's something I always been big on, having peace. And
Mhm.
that definitely helped me get through. Uh, I also told you on pro therapy too. So I feel like a lot of people need to, reach out and, try to get therapy. And I was actually going through therapy last year as well because of my toe injury. It was just difficult to really come back from.
Mhm.
And just a lot of things was going on. So I was in therapy, and again, once that happened, I mean, it was a tough play, but I gave myself a 24-hour rule on it, where just just sat up thinking about it, watched the film on it, and then after
Mhm.
24 hours, I was on to the next. Like it's just really you know a football game that was it was a huge football game, but at the end of the day, like you got to move on from it. But after
Right.
that, right? But after that, man, I just I was spending time with my family. Free agency, it didn't go how I wanted, but at the same time, there's a lot of teams interested. But at the same time, it was just like if nobody not trying to give me what I'm worth, what I feel like I'm worth, I can be done playing. And uh, so throughout the spring, teams was calling. I still just I wanted to be at home with my family. And the Eagles ended up reaching out, and they was willing to give me minimum but incentives to make more. So obviously I took that,
Mhm.
and when I got there, it wasn't what it was expected. I thought they was gonna give me
Mhm.
an opportunity to start, but that wasn't the case at all. So for me, I was just like, I was already at peace. Like, man, I can really be done with football if this the case. And uh, I really wanted my release to come out. I really wanted it to be released and be done with football. So I ended up walking away for like a week away from the Eagles because it was just like the politics and stuff. It's the business side at this point.
Mhm.
I really just I'm at the business side. So like I said, it just still come back to peace, and I wasn't at peace at first. So
Mhm.
well, it was really just a situation that the Eagles was messing with my peace, and that's when I'm like, man, you know what? I'm fortunate enough to where I made enough money to I don't have to play the game no more. So
Mhm.
I was actually just fine with that, and that's why I'm at home now. His team still reached out to the latest team was Green Bay and Tampa. They reached out, but again, like it's not some they're not trying to give me what I'm worth. So I'm straight. I'm straight on being on the field again. I'm enjoying watching it. I'm enjoying being home watching the game as a fan. And I mean, it's fun, man.
Yeah, so let's go off what you just said at the end, right? You said you enjoy like watching the game. You enjoy being at home watching the game now. What's that like? Cuz you got a unique experience now where you get to enjoy what the rest of us do every Sunday, which is just sit on your couch and just watch every team play. And you get to watch your former teammates, former coaches, friends, all these people. What's that been like?
It's been fun, but at the same time, I know I still can be out there playing. And you're saying like I just get to watch. For me, I play safety, so I'm gonna watch the safeties, and the safety play has been like it's been a lot of average safety play, and it's just like damn, I know I can be out there, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. But it's definitely fun just watching everybody, and just room for those guys, and hoping they play well.
Yeah, so from there, let's talk about one of your former teammates, right? He's had a really, really big start to the season. I know he's a guy that you've talked so highly about. You told me in the past and now. That's Talanoa Hufanga.
Yeah.
What do you see in Hufanga that he's doing so well this year that's gotten him so much acclaim for his play? And is there anything in particular that you saw about him when you were able to play with him last year that made you think that he could have this type of ascendancy? Because I know that you were telling me before that you thought he was going to have a big season. So
Yeah, naturally. I mean, he just got a natural feel for playing football. It ain't all about, looking perfect or doing the right technique sometimes, but it's just, he just have a natural feel for the game. And then, with the Niners, they're gonna do a great job at putting him in positions to win. And that's all you really seeing each and every Sunday. They put him in positions to win, and he's taking advantage of it. He's doing well. He's doing great. He's doing exceptional.
yeah, he's really playing unbelievably well. Is there when you played with him last year, was there anything that you were able to show him, or is there anything that you feel like, hey, like when
Well,
Hoof does that,
from
I'm proud as his big brother?
Look, from day one, like even with Marcel and Timor, from day one, I tell them guys, like, look, y'all coming to take my spot. Like, I'm gonna compete, and that's best man win type thing. So from day one, he knew. I'm like, hey, look, you don't come here to chill, sit behind me. You come here to take my spot. So I let him know that, and just things like that. I'm like, whatever I'm messing up on, make that your goal. Whatever mistakes I'm making, make that, work on that. Make sure they ain't your same. Like, make sure you don't make that same mistake. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you talk about, right, that you've been so supportive of your teammates. I think that that's something that is really admirable to watch. Just as a former player that sitting here cheering for them, all of that. One of your other teammates has taken a lot of flack from a lot of people, including me. I know you and I have had some back and forths about this particular teammate, but he's playing really, really well right now. He's gone through the absolute ringer, but you always talk about how much you love this guy and your teammates love this guy, and that's Jimmy Garoppolo. Just talk to me about Jimmy G. What makes Jimmy G, and why do the 49ers players love Jimmy G more than the fans, the media, and everyone else seem to?
Because man, just look at the situation he's been in at this point. Just look at everything that came out. We're gonna draft another quarterback, draft another quarterback. Oh, he's gone. Then the NFC Championship game, how that ended up coming, the result of that, and just looking at now, like he's still on the Niners team and he's playing well. And this guy, he's just a winner. He just it seemed like he just so poised, and he really a lot of stuff that go on through the media and like the doubters that it don't phase him. As you can see now, he's playing well. Like all like just mentally, that's a lot of people don't come out in this situation doing well. But look at him.
I agree with that. And you talk about his mental toughness, right? The word unflappable is often used to describe Jimmy G. And I've heard you say that too. What makes Jimmy G so unflappable? Like, why is he so unbothered by all these things that would affect so many people on an emotional level?
Well, I think he can answer that more better, but at this point, it's just like he just resilient, man. Like regardless of what happens, he just a resilient person, man. Like it just like I say, unbothered, unfazed, regardless of the outcome, the results. He gonna come back and work the next day and try to get better. And you could tell like that's what he want to do. He want to succeed, and that's what you want in your QB.
For sure, for sure. And so he orchestrates obviously the 49ers offense. And I know you've been watching 49ers this year. We've been talking a little bit back and forth about, the 49ers. The Niners offense right now is, there's a lot of fans, a lot of people freaking out. The offense is struggling to score points. Atlanta doesn't have, a top-notch defense. I would say Dean Pease is a very, very good coach. Schematically, they're very good, but they probably don't have the high-end talent of some of the other defenses outside of Grady Jarrett and AJ Terrell, Richie Grant, a couple other people. So going off of that, like when you're watching the Niners offense right now, you don't think Jimmy G is the problem. What do you think's the issue right now? Why is this offense struggling to score?
I mean, the little things, the small things, details, just being more detailed. Like, just as far as the offensive lineman, as a screenplay I saw, like, just being more detailed and, making the correct block. It's just small things. I'm sure they're going to figure it out. It's not like they don't want to score points. People on them as if they don't want to score points. But I'm sure
Right.
if Kyle could put up 100 points every game, he would love to do that. But at the end of the day, people need to relax and understand that, the other team on the other side of the ball, they get paid too to play the game of football. And,
Right.
just the players, Kittle, BA, Debo, when they see, they see those guys, they're gonna be their best they ever played. So at the end of the day, like they're gonna face everybody gonna give them their best. So it's like at the end of the day, you definitely gotta play as a team. You gotta play at another level, knowing that the other team they're not gonna just sit there and lay down. That's what any team in the league.
And what would you say? Because I mean, you talk about the offense, right? And you mentioned, right? It's margins, right? Just little details
Yeah,
that if they did
game of
this,
inches.
it would
Game of
be so
inches.
different, right? Game of inches, like the Ray McLeod drop, Charlie Warner drop. And then you talked about, right? There were a couple missed blocks and a couple screens that maybe Debo could have gotten big plays, details like that, right? My question to you, and this is going to be a little bit of a longer question, so bear with me,
Yeah.
right? But Shanahan has been here for 6 years, right? He's installed his system. There's a lot of redundancy and veterans on this team who have been around. And I know that week to week, year to year, there's small detail changes, but philosophically, right? Certain things remain the same with what you're doing offensively. And that's in every install, and these veterans have been around. Why are there so many issues with this many veteran players? Do you feel? And it's not a question where I don't mean to like ask you to say something poor about your teammates, your former coaches. It's just why is there issues that these details and execution and details and issues with execution seem to remain?
I mean, it's just a matter of just human error, man. Like at the end of the day, you have to play the game. If we play
Mm-hmm.
the game through paper, we probably go under. 49ers probably go undefeated every year. If you look at
Right.
who they got on the roster, but at the end of the day, you have to go out there and play the game. It just sometimes human error. I mean, that's a lot of times it's just a human error where it's like you can run the same play over and over, but you're gonna probably get a different result sometimes, and that's just what it
Right.
is. Like it's just again, it's something that some games it could work well. Next game, one person might be off. It's just it's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, and I think it's so important that you mentioned that because one of the things personally as a fan that I learned a little bit talking to you is just how literal things are within the game. Like everyone wants to get so hard on one play or get so upset about one thing, but
Yeah.
really everything happens play to play so fast. Like you can't really dwell on this or react on that. You just really have to go do the next thing. It's a very honest reality with yourself. And going off of that, I want to talk about the coach that's known for his honesty, right? Like that's the media, that's the reputation they give Shanahan. His players love him because he's known for his honesty. Right now, he's taking a lot of heat, right? A lot of people looked at the 49ers. They looked at this roster, Nick Bosa, Trent Williams, Debo Samuel, Jimmy Ward, and they said, this team is going to be a Super Bowl caliber team.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, they're 3-3, still first in the NFC West, but still 3-3. What would you say is what Shanahan does exceptionally well and why people shouldn't be having any doubt about, whether he is the right guy for the 49ers or whether he is the coach that is going to lead the 49ers to their 6th Super Bowl victory?
He does well. It's just getting the team to come together, man. It's at the end of the day, the game of football. If you can get guys to come together and play together, like that's where you get the best out of the whole team, and then you can play, complementary football where special teams playing well, defense playing well, offense playing well. It's just all about being on that same page. And as you can see last year, we didn't start off the best, and again, we still end up going to the NFC Championship game. So at the end of the day, it's just 3-3. Still a lot of football left. Long season. It's a long season.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. And talk to me about this last year then, right? Because you guys were 3-5 last year. What was kind of the turning point last year that you felt like everything clicked in place? Was it someone getting healthy? Was it a particular win? I know for you last year, you really got into your groove as a player as the Niners kind of fit into their stretch run, right? You were playing some of your best football versus Cincinnati, and down that back stretch, you played really, really well. So, what was that switch that clicked for you guys?
I would say, just going back to the year, as I remember, I think when I think it was Chicago game, I was actually with Jason Verrett. Then we watched that game together, and I think Jimmy threw a deep ball that game to I want to say Debo.
Debo.
Might
Yeah.
might be before
Post.
halftime. I think before halftime.
Right. Post
It
versus
was just
quarters.
like it just some just felt different after that. Some just felt different after that. And then it was like all of a sudden we got our identity. It just seemed like our identity just came. It's just our identity came back.
Right. Talk to me about that Jimmy G deep ball. It's much maligned. It's part of a lot of conversation. I know when I talk to you, you say, "Man, Jimmy G has been slinging it like that all the time in practice. Like Jimmy G can throw it like that. Like we've seen it." And for whatever reason, you say it's there, and we've gone a little bit back and forth. Talk to me about that Jimmy G deep
Man,
ball.
I've been around him a long time. I think he could sling the ball home. Like his deep ball may not be like Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, but I think he can throw it. Like I've seen him throw it. It's different games we played in 2019 and hell 2017 where he threw deep balls and connected. So it's like it's just more the media. It's like since he been at the 49ers, since he got that deal, it's just like the media always had it out for him. Like they just give him this bad persona. It's just like what for? Like, but I get it. He's been inconsistent. To be fair, he has been inconsistent at times, but to like the slander he's been getting is kind of like it's just people. Like I said yesterday, like for how the saying go, for believers, there's no proof necessary. For non-believers, no proof will ever get them to believe. So that's just how it is.
Absolutely. So let's stay on Jimmy G, right? I think a lot of people, watch Jimmy G. A lot of people form an opinion on Jimmy G. You've practiced so much against him. You've gone through, 4 training camps where you've had to play defense, your number one defense against the number one offense against Jimmy G. For you, when you play against him, what makes him tough as a quarterback? Like what's the things that you as a safety need to watch out for when you're playing against Jimmy G?
Really just being on your job because any given day, like he can really throw the ball wherever. So it's like he can at the end of the day, yeah, if you're not doing your job, he can find you. So I mean, it's the NFL, so a lot of times with QBs, it's that's what I would say teams need in QBs, where it's like, okay, if somebody mess up, boom, he can find where somebody mess up on defense. But a lot of times it go it's both ways because sometimes it's plenty players on defense that mess up and the quarterback don't find that open guy. But then it's times where it's like, okay, they end up finding that open guy. So it go hand in hand. But yeah, just Jimmy G he's gonna be a tough competitor every time you line up against him.
Let's stay on this topic, right? You played in the NFL for what, 8 years?
7, yep, 7.
7 years. 7
Would have
years.
been
You were
8
a
this year.
starter. You were a 6-year starter, right? Hats off to you. That's big time. But who are the quarterbacks in the NFL that you went up against a lot of great ones, right? You got to play Rodgers a bunch of times. You got to play Brady, Mahomes, Josh Allen. No, did you play Josh Allen?
I ain't play against him.
Oh, so you didn't play against Josh Allen. But either
Nah.
way, who are the quarterbacks that like you went to sleep the night before a game and you thought like, man, this is gonna be a battle. I can't wait. This is gonna be awesome.
A-Rod for sure. I play A-Rod the most, so Aaron Rodgers. I always wanted to, like, man, I'm gonna get my first pick off Aaron Rodgers. Like, I always wanted that. And I remember playing Tom Brady in 2016. Uh, he threw the ball at me a few times, but he never threw it to where I can pick it off. But guys like that, he's like, man, I want to catch a pick against those guys. So Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, I definitely thought I'd get one then, but never got one. But Timor ended up getting one.
Right.
Yeah, those guys, they the ones that stretch the field. They can throw a late go ball, and it's like it come like it was designed to go there the whole time.
If I tell you there's one trait that this quarterback has that, well, if this quarterback has this trait as a defensive player, you're going to be a little worried. What would it be? Is it arm strength? Like if that guy has a really huge arm, you're worried. Is it he's really smart pre-snap, he knows what you're lined up in? Is it he's really good post-snap at processing what you rotate into? What is that one trait that if a quarterback has that, you know that he's going to give you trouble?
It would be more just the quarterback just being smart, understanding the defense you're in, the scheme. So it's like a lot of times with Brady, he know what you're in, even if you're disguising. He figure out what you're in. It's like he gonna throw it to the right guy every time.
Right.
So it's like sometimes you can know that he know, and it's like he's still gonna get it to the right guy. A lot of times it's like they'll make everybody run all goals, and he's gonna drop it to the running back. It's just a matter of he trying to get the defense to stretch and think, okay, he's gonna throw it deep, but he just hit the check down, get a lot of run at the catch. So just stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's funny you bring that up, right? Because they've been masterful. It was masterful when he was in New England, when they would kind of figure a defense out, the way they would start running similar concepts, but just mix up personnel and change things slightly. And he would just keep going in the same spot, same spot, same spot. Like the Seattle Super Bowl, when they figured them out in the second half, the Rams Super Bowl, when they figured them out and were able to go from heavy personnel and spread them out, it's amazing then what in the zone he gets. And he's like a machine because he never misses any throws. So
yeah, and I mean with him too as well. Like whenever you go man, they just gonna go to the mismatch every time.
right.
They always try to match that Mike linebacker up with Edelman. So that's just what they always do.
Right. Speaking of which, did you ever match up with Gronk?
Nope. 2016 it was Bennett.
He was good too.
Locked his ass up.
You locked his ass up?
Locked his ass up. Go watch the film.
Is there any particular tight end that gave you trouble? Is it Kittle in practice?
Yeah, but we went back and forth though. But really, it was Jordan Reed, man. Jordan Reed. I think 2020, I locked Kittle up that camp. I don't think Kittle caught a ball on me. But then Jay Reed came when he was hurt at first, and he came out there, fresh legs. Every rep he beat me. I ain't like the one rep I thought I was about to get a PBU, he still caught it.
Yeah, I remember talking to you like around that time, and you said Jordan Reed was special, right? Like he moved different.
Yeah, I was frustrated. Even Jimmy Ward too. Like he was catching on both of us. We was like, what? Yeah, he got a quick first step for his size. His get off, like he get off the line so quick.
Yeah, let's stay on that tune though. Like, so if I'm watching a tight end right now, right? Like, and you got to cover them, right? Let's go on that one trait theme, right? Like, if he's big, is he going to give you trouble? I don't think so because you're a pretty big guy. You move well too, so I don't. It's got to be those technicians, right? The guys that can really, really decelerate, disguise what route they're running. It's got to be those guys that give you trouble.
Don't too many guys got Jordan Reed traits though. That was different. He big, but he moved like a receiver. Like his first step is so quick. It's like I was trying to press him, and he got past me every time. But it's like, yeah, I know in the game I might have to soft shoe him. But I went against him in 2017 and locked him up though. So it's one-on-ones too. But I know in the game he ain't gonna have he can't do too many moves on me.
What is the one player? the skill weapon that you went against that, like, as a defense, that was the toughest guy you had to scheme for? Like, was it Tyreek Hill? Was it his speed? What was that one guy that you guys were like, Salah or D'Amico or Jim O'Neal or Mangini, whoever it was, they were on you. They were calling you Kwaski Saturday. You better make sure that you don't get run by him in the post.
Julio Jones.
Was
It was
Julio?
back in my rookie year. My rookie year, 2015. They was just, hey, look, Matt Ryan, he's just gonna throw it up to Julio, and better hope you can be there. But it was just one particular play. I think that was Kyle first year in Atlanta, and they had this one play where Roddy White come and we was gonna be in cover two. But I'm like, we know this play coming while we be in cover two. They was like, we're gonna be in cover two. When this play comes, you got to make sure you get back and don't bite the cheese. And then guess what happened? They ran that play and I bit the cheese. And all I remember is just Matt Ryan just threw it up, and Navarro Bowman, since we was in cover two, he had to run deep because he seen Julio. And Matt Ryan just chunked it up. But in my head, I'm like, oh, he threw it too far. So I'm
Was he
running.
the
I'm
whole
like,
defender? Bowman was the whole
yeah, he was the
defender in
whole
cover
defender.
two?
I'm like, oh, he threw it too far as I'm running. But Julio went and got it. I was like, that's when I'm like, man, this dude real.
He real? Is Julio faster than you? Because I know you think that you're pretty fast.
He slightly, yeah, for sure. Slightly faster than me, for sure.
Slightly. So you played in the NFL a long time, right? Tell me one player. I want to go one player on the two teams you play on. So one player on the 49ers that nobody, fans, media, they don't know, but the players know that he's a dog. Like, he's that guy. One guy in the Eagles that way. And then one guy in the NFL that, like, fans, media, they just don't get it. Like, they don't know that this guy is that guy, but the players know.
That's a hard question, man, because it's a lot of guys like that. It's a lot of guys like that. So I really can't answer that one because it's so many guys like that. It's just all about that opportunity. If they decide to get that opportunity, they got to take advantage. Or if they feature in the defense to where they put you in position to make plays, you just got to take advantage.
Yeah. So let me then ask you, because you don't want to answer that, about one safety I like to call, because I'm a big fan of you. I always thought you were a very good player. I always thought you were much better than anyone gave you credit for. So I like to call it the Jaquiski Tartt Award. He's a safety that he's really, really good, but he plays in a scheme that maybe doesn't feature him and maybe puts him in roles where he's not around the ball, but he does a hell of a job covering. He does a good job against the run. It's just the media, the people, they just aren't able to see it because they're not seeing what this guy's doing on a down in and down out basis on film. Who's the new Jaquiski Tartt in the NFL?
That's a good question. Gonna say it sounds like Jimmy Ward, but he getting his recognition.
Yeah, finally.
I'm gonna have to come back to that one.
You're gonna have to come back to that.
Let's come back to that one.
All right, let's come back to
I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss the person.
You don't want to miss him. All right, fair enough. Let's talk about your former defensive coordinator, though, Robert Saleh. What are the Jets, 4-2? Yesterday, you told me that you thought Saleh was going to have this kind of success. In fact, let's lump Mike McDaniel in there, too. You thought both of these guys were going to be this successful when you worked with them in San Francisco. What was it about them that you expected this from them as head coaches to be successful?
They're two different people, but at the same time, they all can get guys together. Great motivational speaker like Saleh Hill, just his little stories. He always give you a story Sunday before the game. So stuff like that, it just make you want to go out and play hard. And Mike McDaniel's like, he just a fun coach. He gonna make everything fun, and it just having that, it just make you want to play so much harder for the coach. You want them to win, and you want to win obviously, but it's like you also want the coach to win. You want to do everything that the coach get his credit as well.
Right, and every year there's new guys hired as head coaches, right? New guys getting opportunities. It feels like the NFL doesn't even know what works as a coach, what doesn't work. They just try anything and everything. And
Yeah.
when a guy works, then they all try, right? Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan worked. So everybody tried hiring the next Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, whatever. As a player, right? What is one thing you look for in a guy coaching you that you say, like, if that coach has that, he can be a really good coach? Does he need to relate well with players? Does he need to understand football to get the respect of players? Does he just need to be a, good person and just a guy that players can trust? What is that one thing that a coach needs to have to be successful in the NFL?
I think first thing first is like just relating to the players, understanding like, okay, I understand that, what y'all go through, and that goes a long way because some coaches can be like, just come in and act like they don't understand truly what's going on for us, your bodies and stuff like that. So just being able to relate to the players, that's huge in the locker room.
Absolutely, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, for you in the locker room, it's just all about being able to have that relationship with the coach and all of that. So let's then talk about the team you most recently played for, right? Philadelphia. What a start to the season. They're 5 and
Yeah.
0, top team in the NFC, right? Did you know that they could be this good in camp? I know you were telling me that Bradbury and Slay were very much like that in camp, but like, did you
Oh yeah,
know, like,
most definitely, most definitely. They did. I mean, they did a good job of going to get guys. Howard did a good job of going to get guys, and he went and got Gardner Johnson as well for what they doing, what they were trying to do schematically. I feel like that was a good pick as well. Like
right?
he did a good job at doing that, and getting the right guys for what they're trying to do. Uh, but
To
yeah,
play
just
quarters,
huh?
you need a guy like Gardner Johnson.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean I think they, as far as roster wise, look so similar to, or even better than San Fran. I mean, I just looking at their roster, they got a bunch of dogs on the D line. You got Barnett, Cox, Hargrave, Riddick. Like they're loaded.
Jordan
And then the
Davis.
linebacker, Edwards and White, they very underrated guys. You talking about safeties that can do it all. Those two guys, they really can. They really can ball. I'm surprised the Chargers let White go last year. He balled out, but they let him go. But yeah,
They miss him too.
yeah. Marcus Epps is, Marcus Epps to be the safety you about just answer that question. Marcus Epps, like he's one of those guys come down and cover receivers, fit up in the run, like, but not one of those household names. He's from out of Wyoming, late round pick, but he definitely can ball.
So Marcus Epps is your answer to the one safety
Marcus
that's
Epps, yep.
okay, okay, okay. What makes Marcus Epps real good then? What is it
He
about it, right? Because when people used to ask me this, I would say, if you ask me why I think Tartt's underrated, well, he's big. He's really good against the run, always wins his gap, plays the run real well. Good tackler, great angles to the ball, moves really, really well for his side, has enough speed to play from, the hash to the sideline. So how would you describe Marcus Epps?
very instinctive, downhill guy. Can cover, receivers, tight ends, whatever you need him to do, name it. So, and again, for their scheme, like safeties really got to come down and be the next cover guy, the next nickel. So, uh, for what is asked of him, he can do it all, and that's what I kind of look at for safeties. Like, can they do everything? Can they cover? Some guys are just box guys where they, you just keep him in a box. They can't play deep, but he got the range. He got all the tools. Before I left, I told him I expect him to be a Pro Bowl safety too.
You think he's played at a Pro Bowl level this year?
From what I saw in camp, he got the tool. He has the tools to be a Pro Bowl player.
What Actually, let's not go there. But my bad. I was gonna ask you another question about Marcus Epps, but I don't think a lot of people are interested in, me and you talking about Marcus Epps. So moving along, right? You've played for two defensive coordinators who are going to be hot head coaching candidates this season, right? Gannon, everybody's liking him. He's he coached in Indianapolis with Eberflus, but really schematically he's following a lot of the penny fronts and playing quarters the way Vic Fangio and Brandon Staley and those guys have been doing it. The defense in today's NFL, right? Everybody wants to play too high like Vic Fangio. And then you have D'Amico, right? And D'Amico's kind of put his own spin on what was kind of like the Seattle defense, right? They still play a lot, especially more than last year, because you guys played so much too deep last year. This year they play so much more single high Seattle style cover three, sometimes two. So we know what those two guys are schematically, but a head coach needs to be so much more than a coordinator and no schematics. What makes these two guys so successful as coordinators, and what will make them successful or not successful as a head coach?
Really, I didn't have too much time with JG to get to know him like that, but far as Miko, I mean, he's played the game of football at a high level, and he's doing a great job now. So for him, he know how to gather guys together. That's what I'm saying. Just being able to relate to the players, that's huge, and that's one thing he'll excel at. Just relate to whatever team he's at. He'll be able to relate to the players and bring in an attitude, a winning attitude, and that matters.
All right, so let's stick on D'Amico, right? He's got a big challenge this week. He's dealing with, I think, he's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen. I think, I don't know. He is incredible. There's no words to describe Patrick Mahomes. There's nothing he doesn't do at an exceptionally high level. And then to go with it, it seems like he has the intangibles. He's tough as nails. He's composed all the time. What can the Niners defense do, especially, with as these injuries on the defensive line? Who knows if Bosa plays? Who knows if Charvarius Ward plays? What can the Niners defense do to slow down Mahomes and that fantastic Chiefs offense?
Really just play how they've been playing, man. Honestly, just play team defense and just keep it simple. It ain't, it's nothing magical you can do. But at the end of the day, like with the pieces they have on defense, you just keep it simple. Just keep it simple.
Right. And when we're talking about Chiefs offense, we're talking about Mahomes. You talk about keeping it simple, right? I know there was a guy that you covered a lot in the Super Bowl. I think he's starting to get near the conversation of in the greatest receiving tight end in NFL history. Year in, year out, the guy is phenomenal. He understands zone coverage so well, where the soft spots are, where to find space.
That's where he so great at, just zone coverage, and Mahomes find him every time. Like sometimes I don't even think a play call. They just tell him hey, go find an open spot. So it's like with them, you definitely have to stay out of zone sometimes. You might have to just go press man, but it's just, again, that's why they're so good. Mahomes and Kelsey, they're good. So at the end of the day, like what Kelsey brings to the game is he definitely could be up there.
Well, what do you do to stop Kelsey, though? I know that you are a big proponent of, if there's a high-level receiver, high-level tight end, you press them, you get hands on them, you're physical with them at the line of scrimmage, and then you shade the safety over the top.
Yeah,
is that the best way to handle Kelsey?
Yeah, for sure. You got to get hands on him. If you got a safety that can cover him man-to-man on his own, just, let that safety cover him, press him. So, I mean, you've seen what Derwin James did. Derwin affected him. So, I mean, you just really got to try to take him out and then make the other guys beat you.
So let's get a little bit more into the weeds of the schematics, right? Because Kelsey's also a guy who moves around a lot in their offense. Mm-hmm. They move him in motion a lot, right? And he lines up in a lot of different spots. They'll line him up in the backfield. They'll line him up in line. They'll sometimes have him as a fullback. Sometimes, they have him as a wildcat quarterback. They do so much with him. From a matchup standpoint, how does him lining up in all these spots affect how you plan to cover him, or affects the number of times you can maybe press him or maybe affect him that way?
Well, it just depends on what show up on film, as far as what he the route concept he's doing, depending on where he's lining up at. Sometimes in the backfield, he's truly no threat. If he in the backfield, he's not there to block, so he's gonna do some a short route. So that's something you can kind of already be ahead of. So it's but if he line up on lined up on the single receiver side by itself. He either going shallow or 7. So a lot of stuff they do schematically, you can kind of already be ahead of and understand what route you're going to get when he's in that position.
Right. I mean, I guess stopping it is still equally hard though,
Yeah,
because
exactly. That's why I
Mahomes
say it's like,
is
yeah, you can on paper everything look good until them bullets come flying. So
right. And it's something you talk about so much, right? Like when I bring up an offense to you and I say, we start talking a little bit and I say this offense does this, and you're like, man, when they do that, this guy's going to run this route, this guy's
yeah,
going to run this route. And you see it on game day and it shows up every week, right? And
yeah,
so you know that, and I'm assuming most NFL players, teams who are in the grind week in, week out, are putting in that work. They know what these teams do. They know, like, definitely with division rivals, but in general, if you study them, you know that
yeah. You
they
see
in
it
this
right,
formation,
exactly.
this is their runs, this is what they do. I, what baffles me really, and this is what I'm getting towards. How good does it make some of these players if everybody kind of knows like these guys do this, these guys do this, and yet it's still so hard to stop them? Like,
That's
how talented does that make these players?
that's welcome to the NFL. Like every week you gotta bring your A game because no matter what, you can know the play, they still find a way. They're that good. And that's one of the things I guess I've been seeing each game I turn to. It's like I already know what play coming depending on the formation. I'm like, oh, they about to do this. They about to run the screen, or they about to run all go special. It's just certain things. It's like, man, they just show up with different teams. No matter the quarterback, they still kind of run all the same stuff. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Just depending on who the opponent is.
Right. But overall, you think that the Niners defense, in order to have a good game against the Chiefs and Mahomes, got to be disciplined. You know what they're going to do on paper, like you said.
Keep him in the
Just got to
pocket.
play
You gotta
discipline.
keep him in the
Keep,
pocket. I think he's the most dangerous when he get out the pocket, and especially if you run behind him. That's just a layup. You giving him a pass like easy.
do you know something about him?
As far as what?
Patrick Mahomes runs faster in a circle than he does in a straight line.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because that's how his like hips and he's duck footed, right? He's got like some weird like double jointed thing to him. That's why it's so hard for he's so quick in a short area. His short area quickness is so unbelievable, and he's able to make people miss so and make them look funny so much.
He could be cheating. Then they might have to check that out.
Well,
But nah,
let's
he
talk about the Niners offense, right? I know you have how much of the Chiefs defense have you watched this year? You've watched a little bit, right?
I watched a little bit, but I'm familiar with what they do. Like they do. I know for sure he like to play with a lot of DBs, but I'm not sure what they've been doing a lot of this year.
Yeah, I mean, last year they were a big cover two team. I actually personally have not watched their defense a lot this year, but the one thing I know about Spags, watching them over the years, is they do whatever is necessary with the personnel they have to, kind of make it work. I know that there's a big guy on their defense that, the game planning for Shanahan is going to start with, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's Chris Jones, a guy that, if he does a couple things, if he maybe doesn't make a couple of plays, you're a Super Bowl champion. How
Yeah.
dominant is Chris Jones? How much of a challenge will that be for the Niners on Sunday?
I mean, every week is a challenge now, but Chris Jones, he's right behind Aaron Donald, and what he brings to the game, what he brings to that defensive front, like you got to keep eyes on him. You can't be blocked
Mhm.
by one person, so that's definitely going to be a tough matchup. But sometimes what Kyle do, he has a great game plan going into games where it's been games Aaron Donald had zero effect on the offense. So, again, that just show you how, the brain of Kyle and how it works. So, I mean, I think Kyle gonna come out striking. That's what I think.
Yeah, 100%. You keep saying that, right? I saw you mention it on Twitter too. What makes Shanahan so feisty and competitive for these kind of games, right? It seems that, the Rams games, these primetime games, any game that it feels like, the stakes are higher. It feels like not that Shanahan doesn't bring it every game, but it feels like he rises to the occasion.
I mean, that's just what he do, man. He's been doing it for a long time, and like I said, he want to win. It's not like he calling plays to lose, but he definitely want to be out there and win. So if he can drop 100 points, trust me, he will. in a heartbeat.
So the Niners offense, right? We talked about in the beginning. You told us exactly, what the issues you thought were, all of that. Now we're talking about an offense, right, that needs to execute. They're 3-3. They're playing obviously one of the teams that most people would regard as one of the two best teams in the NFL, along with the Bills and the Chiefs. You've played with these guys for so many years. If I told you the Niners offense had a good game on Sunday, that means who played well and who did what?
I mean, Jimmy G played well. I mean, Debo had a great game. Kilder had a great game. BA had a great game. And the defense came out to play.
Do you think anybody in particular is going to have a big game? Like me, for an example, I think Debo Samuel had a rough game against Carolina. He didn't maybe get as many opportunities as he usually does against Atlanta. And he's a primetime, big-time player that, when the lights are brightest, Debo shows out. I think this is going to be a game Debo puts on an absolute clinic. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with that. We're gonna have to see if the Chiefs DBs want to hit.
Let's talk about those. Let's talk about him then, right? Debo, Kittle, Ayuk. What makes each one of those guys special in your opinion, or talented, or what stands out about those three guys?
The run after catch. They catch it, they're trying to score. They're trying to run through anybody to score. As soon as they catch it, they don't care who in front of them. They just gonna run. So
who's the best guy after the catch in the league?
You gotta give it to Debo.
Is Debo?
You gotta give.
What about you personally that you've gone against away from Debo? Is it Chase, Tyreek Hill?
Oh yeah, Tyreek Hill for sure, hands down. Tyreek Hill.
Okay, Tyreek Hill. Is it the speed? I mean, because Tyreek Hill, it's the agility, right?
Can't cold speed. His speed, man. His speed unreal. Now I'm fast, and it's just like I know if he got a step on me, it's not even a chance. I don't have a chance to catch him.
I've never seen anybody outrun angles. Like, he makes fast people look slow. It's crazy.
Exactly.
Like the touchdown in the playoffs. I mean, Jordan Poyer probably runs what, 4.4, you would say? 4.45, 4.5?
I don't know, but
Jordan Poyer's quick.
He may be a 4.5 guy.
All right, but Tyreek Hill made him look like he was 5.0.
Yeah, I mean, that's where he's speed demon.
Yeah, it's unreal speed. So I know I've taken a lot of your time, but before I let you go, there's one big topic that I really want to talk to you about.
What'd you say?
What'd you say? My bad.
No, what'd you say?
What'd you say?
I ain't say nothing. Go ahead.
Nah, what'd you say?
I ain't say nothing. Go ahead.
What, I took too much of your time?
No, we good, bro. Let's go.
Next question. Fine. I see how it is. Okay. Just sliding that in there. All right, but we got to talk about the injuries, man. The Niners have a big problem with the injuries. It is the hot topic with fans. It's the hot topic with everybody. You were a Niners player for 7 years. You've now got to go to a different training camp, work with a different training staff in Philadelphia. Is there a problem with what the Niners are doing? Is that why players on the Niners seem more susceptible to injuries? What can you give any insight to this?
Well, I don't know what they did this past camp, but if we're going based off when I was there, I honestly thought like he was doing a good job at saving our bodies, but just going to the Eagles, being with the Eagles for the short time I was with them, it ain't even close. Like what the Eagles do, like, and then you just got to go off results. From last year, the Eagles, I think they was number one in least injured players, and this year I think it's the same. So you're just going off results, like pure results. The Eagles, their plan is just by far probably one of the best. Where they definitely let you rest your body. Like you getting hard work in, but at the end of the day, like you getting a lot of time off to rest your body. You're able to be fast and light. Really like not feeling the pressure and the bumps and bruises throughout the season.
So basically, you're saying that the Eagles camp, you feel like they rest you more. Is it that the Niners
Oh
camp is
yeah,
too hard? Is it
you
too
get
many
a
hard days
yeah, not
consecutively?
Niners. Yeah, Niners. I was saying being in camp with the Niners, it's a lot of banging. It's a lot of banging. You're gonna very physical camp, very physical camp. A lot of padded practices. Eagles, I would say it's physical for sure, but you're not doing a lot of banging. You're uh, some days it's just like red zone only practices, and they just keep it light, but it's still high intensity. But they keeping I guess your reps down.
And as a player, like, just talk to me. Obviously, no, none of us can relate. You're the only one that's here that's played. Actually, maybe somebody else watching has played in the league, but I certainly haven't. And you've talked to me about, how much of a grind the season is on your body, how some days you wake up and you're
Hmm.
like, damn, how am I going to play in this game and all of that? How important is it for you to have what the Eagles do where they let your body rest? Like, how much different does that make you feel?
It makes a huge difference, waking up knowing like your body feel well rested, and I don't feel like you got a bump or bruise at all, and that's just you're gonna fly around. But when you waking up and it's like, oh shit, you still feeling something you shouldn't be feeling. Then a lot of times your body could be feeling good, and then you wake up Sunday morning, it's like someone just start hurting you for no reason. You're like,
Right.
what? So it's again, it's definitely better to wake up feeling great that Sunday morning, where it's like, okay, I feel light. My body felt light the whole week of practice, and you can fly around.
Talk to me about this though, right? I think the immediate kind of impression that, resting and not practice, like the Niners practicing hard, is that the Niners are going to be a more physical team than other teams, right? Because they're competing, they're banging every day, their bodies are equipped to this. For whatever reason, right? You describe Philadelphia as being like, you practice hard, but you're still getting rest, all of this. We're watching Philadelphia 2 through 5 weeks, right? Philadelphia hits as good as any team, right? They
Oh,
never
for
get
sure.
out hit. They compete. They're really physical. Explain to somebody like me who has no clue, like, how the practices can be physical. You can get enough hits in to be ready for the season, be ready to hit teams during the season, but still maybe, be light on your bodies.
Well, to be honest, I mean, how I said, I mean, I'm just a player, but me personally, we're professional athletes. We get paid to tackle, so it's like at the end of the day, we shouldn't have to be, bumping heads, being so physical in practice as if we don't know how to tackle and don't know how to be physical. And I think that's something, you know, again, all I'm going off is the results. As you're looking at it, Philadelphia, they're physical at practice, but it ain't too much of, it's sometimes it's, you have to throw it up, but it's not really all the time you have to throw it up, man. In San Fran, it's don't pass up no contact or you're gonna be off the team type feeling. So at the end of the day, you still can it's still a bunch of things that the 49ers offer to keep your body and feeling good, like far as massages and stuff like that. They pay for that. They go out of their way to make sure guys are feeling good before Sunday.
Hmm.
But uh, at the end of the day, it just a lot of bad luck too. Like it's just I really can't tell you why. Like I really can't tell you why people keep getting injured. It's
Right,
just
right,
bad
right,
luck.
right. And a lot of times it is really that, right? I mean,
Right.
I think a lot of people are looking to solve a process and a problem that nobody really has an answer for. It's the reality of playing football. It's
Yeah,
physical, it's
exactly. You playing
competitive, yeah.
football, so to me, I say it's a bunch of car wrecks, a bunch of car wrecks happening every play.
Before I let you go, I want to do two things. We got a couple of fans that have sent a couple of donations and have some kind words to you, so I want to read them out to you. And then I wanted to get a score prediction for this weekend Niners Chiefs from you. So you think on that, because I know you're gonna need a little bit of time because you want to answer it right. But we'll see. I'll also give a score prediction and then we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
see. All right, so first, Samir says, I like the preamble to the question. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I did my prep work, but shout out to Kwaski for coming here. It's too kind of him. He really is, a very nice guy, all of that, but also, he's been very helpful and kind to me. This is the second time he's done this with me. He's given me way too much of his time. So, Kwaski, you're the man. Smack Jones says, for the hell of it, appreciate you. Haha says, love your game, Tartt. Always felt you were underrated and made a dynamic duo with Ward.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all guys, man.
And then Miguel says, as a 49ers fan, thank you for everything you did for us. And I think that's absolutely right on, because you sent us to the NFC Championship game by running down Aaron Jones.
Yeah, for sure.
How fast did you clock when you were running him down, by the way?
I don't know. It was pretty cold. I don't know. I still don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Is that the fastest you've ever been going?
Nah, the fastest I clocked was 22.9.
You run 22.9?
Yeah, that's the fastest I clocked. 22.9 and 22.7. I think it was Atlanta game. The Atlanta game in 2016. That's when Shanahan put up
Is this the cover 2 play when you were trying to run down Julio?
Nah, this 2016. This when we went to Atlanta.
Oh, right. This one, the 600
Super Bowl
yards?
year for Atlanta, yeah. This one
600 yards, yeah.
without Julio.
Yeah. We were talking about that yesterday. But, wait, so were you the fastest on the Niners after Mostert?
It was, pretty much, yeah. I think, Raheem, he clocked like 20, he clocked 23 so many times. But it was, I want to say, 2019, as I remember, it was Marquise Goodwin and Raheem Mostert. And then it was me. And then it was Breida.
You're not faster than Tarvarius Moore, are you?
Hey, I ain't seen, he haven't clocked yet anything higher than that. So at this point,
for real?
I'm running with it.
Then what happened in the 40? Come on, tell me why Indy had you at 4.4. What did they have you, 4.45?
It's 4 or 5 something, but it's weird. Like I don't even want to get into that theory, but I would say that combine is something different, man.
All right, tell me what your 40 is then straight up. Forget the combine.
I'm 4.3.
Okay.
Hand time on 4.3, but the combine time it's weird how that worked.
All right. So you got your prediction? You got it ready to go?
We're gonna go 24-17.
Who you taking?
Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 24-14 Chiefs.
Yeah, it's gonna be I don't know, man. It could be a close one though.
I mean, yeah,
I just to the wire.
I just think Bosa played as good a game as you can play in the Super Bowl, and Mahomes still got a couple of plays off. Man.
Yeah.
Well, what you thinking? I didn't mean to bring up bad memories. That's not what I'm doing here. That's not what it's bad for me too. Not at the same level as you, but it's bad for me. But
that was just a Tyreek Hill. He just threw the ball up, man. He just threw the damn ball up because he knew he had Tyreek Hill.
You say he just threw a ball up. How many other players in the league are going to drift that far back and be able to put that much air and land the ball in a spot like that?
Oh, for sure. But you still throwing the ball to Tyreek Hill at the end of the day.
True.
That's one of the plays where you know it's coming and then it still happen. And, that just, again, it's the NFL. You know that play coming and they still do it. And we just wait for that play the whole game. And all he was doing is just trying to dodge the D lineman. He knew he was going to throw it there. He just threw it, and Tyreek Hill caught it.
Who's got the bigger arm, him or Rodgers?
I don't know. Honestly, I seen Rodgers throw it outside the hash late, and it was still on the money. But
without his feet set?
Without his feet set. It was like, what? So... yeah, I mean, I don't know. Then you got Allen, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So yeah, they definitely up there.
All right, I gotta ask you one more thing, bro. Actually, because I decided I needed to ask you about this. I need you to tell the people this. All right, because I've had this debate on Twitter, and you're doing this for my sanity on social media, bro. So
Oh nah, I'm staying out of it.
no. Listen. All right, and it's because of conversation you and I have, right? I'm hell bent, and it's not to compare the two players, but I'm hell bent that that Alden Smith was just something like different. And your two former
Yeah.
teammates, Joe Staley and Trent Williams, have said that's the best defensive end they've ever gone against. I don't want to talk about him versus Bosa because Bosa's a great player too.
fucking
But
with
tell me what
Alden.
it was like to have Alden Smith in camp with you.
Nobody fucking with Alden, man. This me as a rookie. I'm in the NFL. For them to tell the guy to sit out of play because they trying to run the ball to his side was crazy. Like what? And then no, I ain't getting out. They ran the ball to the side, and they couldn't do shit about it. So it's times they just use it, make them get out so they can run the ball, so they can get a good look on the play. I'm like, that's crazy. And Joe Staley was blocking him. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to take. All right. Two more things for you. My bad. Two more things. This guy, George Peterson, excuse me, not Peyton. That's the GM. He just wanted to give 99 cents to say, is Tartt ready to go if the Niners need his service? And a lot of people have been asking this in the comments, so I just put it out there for you. The Niners want you back.
For the right price, yes, I'm ready.
For the right price. Heard it here. And then the last thing, and this is just because it's a hot topic around the league right now, and that is, what is your opinion on turf? And,
We got it. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. All NFL stadiums need to be grass fields. So that's what most people practice on. So you need to stay on. Just continue to have grass fields to play on.
All right. Well, that's a great place to stop. Kwaski, thank you so much for coming on. You're the man. I hope people. What's going on next? What can people expect? Where can people expect to see Kwaski Tartt?
Shit, nowhere. I'm gonna be chilling, man. I'm chilling, man.
All right. He's gonna be chilling. But thank you again for coming on. This was awesome. I think we should do this again and talk some more ball. Always love talking ball. You know so much, and it's always a pleasure for every single one of us when you're willing to share some
Yeah,
of the
we could talk
information.
ball, man. I'm for it. We could talk ball.
All right, let's do it. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Peace, like, subscribe, and share, and peace.
All right, my brother.